And I've had a couple times where we get on the boat and the parents get in the backpack and they'll hand a tablet. And I'm like, hey, if we're not taking pictures with that, let's put that up.
Right.
And
Good for
come
you.
back here and let's learn how to cast. Well, they're going to tangle the rod up. That's okay. I've got more rods in the box.
Hey, welcome to Legacy Insights, the podcast that is for entrepreneurs at every stage of their business cycle. And I'm Steve Duff, one of your hosts, and I am so blessed to be joined by three other co-hosts. The whole group is here this week, so
Well, yeah.
so excited.
Full cast.
Christina Howard,
Hello.
Joe McCorkle,
Hello as well.
Franklin Morris.
Hello.
All right, I've got to start off by admiring this website. This is
Very
the
impressive.
absolute coolest website out there.
It looks
Just plus you can't miss our guest when he drives around town.
That is true.
When
You know, I've
both
been
of
sitting
them
here
drive
watching the
around
website. I'm like, man, I need to get out on the lake.
I know. Just the photos going through.
I think I won't be in
makes
this
you want
afternoon,
to.
Steve.
Yeah.
Well, the ones who are behind the No Wake guide service is our guest today. It's Barb and Tommy Vaughn.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so
having
much for
us.
Yeah, thanks for
Yes,
coming
thank you.
today.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you here. And when you agreed to come onto the podcast, we were all just really happy because you're kind of famous in a small town for sure, but your reach is growing quickly far beyond this small town. So backing up a little bit before we get too much into your business, can you tell us a little bit about you guys, your family, how long you've been in the Grand Lake area, that sort of thing?
We started here in Grand Lake permanently in 2013. So we've been coming over the summers just as weekenders, as everybody calls them, and decided that we needed to make a change. And so we moved here in 2013 and started our daughter that is almost 16 now. We started her in the Turkey Ford School because we wanted a good small country school for her. So we moved, and she was 4 years old at the time, and that was the time that
Wow.
we thought we needed to move.
Yeah.
So, and that's when I met you.
Yes, I was thinking so. We moved here at the same time, and you moved from Kansas.
Yes,
is
we
that
moved
right?
from Kansas. He's from Coffeyville. I'm from Caney.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're
And the cool thing about it, we was talking before, God has a plan, and sometimes we got to listen because I had a job and everything was good. Well, life changed, and we ended up here at the lake. But my goal was to always retire and fish on Grand Lake. So that's God's version of retirement is being able to guide now.
I
Yeah.
love
on
it.
the lake.
That's awesome.
I love it.
You're living the dream of many, many, many men and some women for
And
sure.
The dream part is the customers on the boat fishing, but it's like anything, there's a lot of work behind the scenes
Right.
to keep it at the level and, make sure everything's ready for the customers. And a lot of people see the wrap boats and the wrap trucks, but don't understand the little things that got us there.
right.
Well, speaking of getting there, what inspired you guys to start this? Obviously, you've been an avid fisherman. You have enjoyed the lake. You came as visitors before you decided to make that leap and move here. But what made you take the leap into starting the business? And I remember when you guys were starting it and talking about it, and it's so exciting to me to see where you are now. But take us back to that time when you were kind of throwing it around and thinking about it. What brought you to that point?
So let me back up. As a little kid, I would go fish the river. We grew up in Coffeyville. We had the Vertigus River. Well, we had 365 acres. So I would load up my German Shepherd in my little flat bottom boat and go fish the river. I just knew to be home before the porch light was on.
Right.
Or I was getting my butt busted. So so fishing has always been my passion. Hunting, yeah, I enjoy it, but that was my passion. And when we first got here, there was a gentleman that was guiding, and he said, "Hey, you want to come help me?" So I helped him for a little bit, and things had changed. It's kind of like anything. Somebody, it's like here, let me show you this. And then you're like, man, that would be awesome. Well, as times changed and God's direction showed us to start no wait guide service.
Right.
And, you know, you have to have faith, because if we're trying to look at it and go, where am I going to be? First thing we did was set a 5-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we want to be in 5 years. We made it there in 3.
Yes.
Wow.
And now that things are changing, we're always constantly like, all right, what are we going to do this year? But before every day I start on a trip, my goal is set here. If we catch more fish than that, fine. If not, but goals are very important, and don't be afraid to fail,
Absolutely.
because that's just a stepping stone to make the next step
Now,
forward.
how did you do a 5-year plan?
We decided that we wanted to try to be at this many trips, run this many boats. We wanted to have the business to here, but not any bigger.
Right.
And that way, we're building a business on what your budget is. Just because you got good credit and you can go buy 10 boats
Doesn't mean you should.
doesn't mean
Exactly.
you should.
And you
Yeah,
can't find,
you're not ready for that.
and you've got to have the right people.
Right.
People that like to talk to people. It's very hard to find those people. So you have to have
Sure
the
it
right
is.
people to help. So
if you were going to talk to an entrepreneur that was starting a business, and that's what I love about business. And I mean, we're here in a real estate building talking about a fishing guide, but the basics of business is all very similar.
yes.
How would you tell someone to get started? Okay, on the goal setting or the 5-year goal, what would be some main things that you would tell them? You know, how to go about doing that?
Don't be afraid. The first thing would be, don't be afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
Because
that's
if you're
huge.
afraid of failing, you've already set yourself up
Yeah.
for failure.
Yeah.
You'll freeze.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And don't be afraid to be told no,
Yes.
because I've been told no a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Or the bad thing about this social media, a lot of people are keyboard warriors and they want to downsize. You know, they want to make sure that they're bashing you.
Yes.
And you just have to ignore it. I always tell everybody we tend our own garden,
Yeah.
Right.
because some people be like, oh, I seen so-and-so caught this many fish, or they did this and that.
It doesn't
Okay.
matter.
That's great.
Because I have
Yeah.
customers that may want to catch a 60 crappie. I have some that want to catch 10, but they want to go look at the lake. They want to see real estate. So set your trip or your business to your customers. And we were kind of talking about that before. You'll have customers that come in, they might want to be here for one day. They want a little cabin, or they come in and they want to bring the whole family. So learn how to read your customers. And once you do that in the business, we honestly didn't even pay ourselves the first 2 years.
Right.
We put everything back. So we didn't say, oh, we got the nicest stuff, but we wanted the nicest stuff for our customers.
Right.
Right.
So, and the thing with guiding too is it's kind of like being a farmer. You spend a lot of money and pray, hope for a good harvest.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get rich at it, but if you're a people person and that's your passion, that is good for any business.
Absolutely.
So
That enthusiasm sells. That passion sells.
And you can't fake that.
Right.
No.
It's
no.
genuine and it's there, or it's obvious that it's not.
Right.
yep.
And that's the same for real estate too.
Yeah.
A realtor, it's the passion, it's that energy that sells.
And you have to believe in your product, like the sponsors and stuff we was talking about. If I don't believe in that product or the people behind it, I can't sell it.
Right.
If I wasn't comfortable here, you could read it, you can sell it, or feel it like you were talking about. And that's very important. I believe in this community of growth.
Yes.
I love the small town atmosphere, and we do a lot with the schools and a lot with veterans, and with the
Yes.
bigger boats. Now we can take people in wheelchairs.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
big passion of ours. On the
That's-
website, there's a
that's
big
awesome.
logo, handicap accessible.
Yes.
That's
Wow.
right.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And like with our veterans, we give 10% off. So it's the little things in marketing
Mm-hmm.
that catch.
That's neat.
So
Very cool.
And we love kids on the boat. That
Oh,
is
I'm sure.
one of the
Awesome.
number one things too. if they have kids, they always ask, hey, we've got a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old. Hey, bring them. That's what
So
we
do you
want.
get a lot of kids coming or?
Yes, we have lots of kids on the boat. We've even had like 2-year-olds on the boat, and they are just as easy to teach how to fish.
Yeah.
So when he knows that he has a little one on board, he's excited because he's like, oh gosh, I'm going to be one of the first people to show him how to fish.
Yeah.
Because that's his
Special
passion.
honor.
Yes,
It's something
it's his
you know
passion.
they'll remember.
And
Yes.
it's pretty cool because we've taken a young lady that was, she was kind of in a backboard. She could be in a wheelchair but couldn't move. We helped her catch 11 paddlefish that day,
That's awesome.
and then had a little fish fry for her. And it was more rewarding for us than she will ever know that impact.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure.
taking a kid out that was in a wheelchair, had an accident, and he's like, I want to catch a paddlefish. I used to catch them all the time before my accident. So I was
Wow.
on the water and I called his mom and dad and I said, hey, can you meet me here at 1? And they're like, yeah, but budget's tight. I said, I wasn't talking about the budget. I want to make,
Right.
this 4 hours special for him.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And, I think a lot of people get tied up in
The cost.
the cost or like me. It's this is me.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's us as a community. Because if I'm not helping support everybody else, why would you support me?
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
You were talking a little bit earlier before we started the podcast about your ties to the community and your focus on making sure that your business also pours into the community. So I think for any small business, no matter where you're at, that's very important. And if we can look out for one another, we will all benefit together. So can you give us some examples of that in your business?
it's kind of like the high school. Allison's in high school now, and her drama class, it's not like the football team. There's not a lot of budget there. And even the boosters and stuff will donate a trip where they can auction, or God's blessed us enough to be able to help out in more ways. Like we're building a float right now for the homecoming parade, and we're donating
People
to
can
that.
help with that.
Yes.
But when you donate, don't go put it on social media.
Right.
If you're doing that, then you're doing it for the wrong
Yeah.
reason.
You're advertising at that point.
And a lot of
Yes.
last night is a prime example. It was the first night of homecoming float. One of the sponsors was like, hey, we know that you guys donate. We want to give back to you. And we said, that's not what it's about. It's about helping where Allison is passionate at. And she is passionate. When she is passionate about something, it's just like Tommy. She's going to put all she has into it and really, really do it. And that's what I told them. I said, as long as she's passionate, we're going to stand behind her and we will do whatever it takes. It doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about paying us back.
Right.
We're just paying it forward because we're able to now.
Yeah.
There was a time that we weren't able to give back.
Right.
And now that we're able, it's something that we're passionate about is
Nice.
That's
giving
awesome.
back.
Nice.
And it was
Very
a good thing. Like if the community asked you to do something 5-6 years ago, the 5th grade football team didn't have a way to get around in homecoming. You know how 5th grade boys in a big old boat in the parade, they
Right.
loved
They
it.
probably loved it.
They
yeah.
loved it. And I've seen it too. I had a couple family from Oklahoma City come up. They lived in downtown Oklahoma City. You don't see trees and rocks and water.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we got through with the trip and I pulled up to the bank and the kids played for another hour. And the parents were like, hey, I'm sure you got to get home. I said, I'll get there. But I wanted those kids to be able to enjoy the outdoors. And I've had a couple times where we get on the boat and the parents get in the backpack and they'll hand a tablet. And I'm like, hey, if we're not taking pictures with that, let's put that up.
Right.
And
Good for
come
you.
back here and let's learn how to cast. Well, they're going to tangle the rod up. That's okay. I've got more rods in the box.
Right.
And that's the pretty cool thing about it. There's a kid that came up for a long time with me and didn't know how to cast a reel. The first time he took a spinning reel and turned it upside down and the handle come out. Well, now he is one of the top probably 50 high school bass anglers
Wow.
Yes.
in the
awesome.
country. And every time they come back to Grand Lake every summer,
Yeah.
just to visit with us and fish with us.
Yes.
That's cool.
So
So you're making lifelong relationships
Right.
along the way also, which
Yes.
is no surprise from you guys. You're just that type of people that I think people bond to easily, which has probably been a big part of your success.
and it was pretty awesome. I had a lady fly from Japan
Wow.
to come
Wow.
paddle fish.
Wow.
Wow.
At first, we thought it was a fake email
Right.
because it's like,
Right.
and then she posted her deposit, and we're like, oh, we got to make this happen.
Yes.
And
So did she find out about off the website, or how did she find
We
out?
didn't have the
Find out
website
about
at that
you.
time.
we had there was a YouTube video
Yes.
Okay.
that somebody had posted, and she had seen it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
And
That's
flew
really-
over.
Wow.
And the most memorable thing, she caught 11 or 12 fish that day. And couldn't find out she was like a Bill Dance of bass fishing
Wow.
In Japan. Yes.
in Japan. Yeah, she had like
Wow.
170,000 likes on this post.
Goodness.
Wow.
So she just blew it up. But after we were done, just trying to talk, and I was like, "Are you hungry?" She go, "Hamburger." And I was like,
Yes.
so I took her to Brahms, and she ate that whole thing before we got out of the
And
parking
she was
lot.
a little
She's like,
bitty
"We don't
thing,
get
too."
this in Japan."
So she's
Hamburger is a universal language.
Yes.
Right.
It is.
so she was originally from Japan.
Yeah,
Yes,
she lived.
she's from Japan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is
And
Wow.
flew
really
all the way over here
interesting.
for one day of fishing and flew back.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
And she travels
Business right
she
off.
travels the country. That's what she does. Her YouTube channel is about fishing. That's
Wow.
all that she does.
Do you know the name of her channel?
Not right.
Not
off the top of my
offhand.
head.
Yeah.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It sounds like an interesting woman.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
she was.
Well, tell us the story behind the name No Wake Guide Service.
So we had some friends that, like we were talking about, things were hard. And we pretty much started our life all over. And we did that by, I'm just going to be honest, we put God in our relationship and our
Right.
family and had a relationship with Him and said, okay, I had some issues and stuff. I said, I'm done feeling this way. There's more to life than this. And some friends of ours was like, you need to be guiding. You guys, this is it. So they stepped in to help us out. We was all having dinner and just could not think of a name, And then No Wake come up.
Yeah.
Well, my marketing mind, we get free advertisement all over the lake.
Yeah.
That's true. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, you go
That
by
is
a lot of
great
docks and they
point.
got big signs up, no
No
wakes.
wake.
I'm like, I used to get a little sticker,
great.
guide
Yeah.
service up there.
Right.
But yeah, you get that free advertisement. And when you're building that, people have their names. A lot of guides have their own name.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, what was his name? Well, No Wake is,
Mm-hmm.
Easy to
different.
remember. It
Yes.
stands out.
and then
Wow.
we come with slow down, relax, and fish more. Because that kind of puts it in the motto of, I need to take a vacation and go to Grand Lake and
Right.
go fishing for a couple days.
Absolutely.
So,
And let the expert guide me.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
I don't have to figure out where the spots are.
Yeah,
Right.
and I've had some gentlemen that have retired and had their own boats, and they're like, now I sold my boat, so you come by, you can pick me up. I don't have to worry about bait, insurance, nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
You take me out fishing, clean my fish, and take me back to my dock on some occasions.
Right.
So, yeah.
That is a great point because I know there's a lot of people, and we see that here on Grand Lake, even with real estate. You know, at one point in your life, you want that lake home. And then in a different season, it becomes a lot to keep up with, and the boat and the dock.
Right.
So I could see where someone that enjoyed that season of life, they still want to get out on the lake, they can just call you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I hadn't thought about that.
And we've had people call during when the pelicans are in, can we go out and see the pelicans? Sure. We've had ladies we pick up every year
Yes.
in the Elk River, and we boat to the dam and back.
Huh.
And
Yes.
they just,
No fishing.
They just hang out,
Yeah.
enjoy each other's company, and
Interesting.
they just love the ride.
and I've had people looking for real estate. And they're
Yeah.
like, the lake, let's go.
They want to see it from that point.
They want to
That
see it
is
from
great.
that point, so they know if I'm here, how am I going to travel here?
Yeah. And that's a great point to
Wonder where we could put legacy on that boat.
Yeah.
I'm sure it can be done.
Yeah.
That's such a great point, though. Too. Sometimes we get so laser focused on our specialty that I think we miss out on revenue streams
Yeah.
because we
Right.
don't
Like
think outside the
leisurely.
box.
Yes.
Boat
So
rides.
what a great example of that.
And a lot of people, it's kind of the same fee as you would go rent a boat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to rent this boat, but now I got a captain.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, and the good thing about it is know your business, know your area.
Yeah.
How many people do not know the lake was built in the 1941? It started in 1938, 39, closed in 41. The lake flooded. There's 2 bridges up here in the Oak River that couldn't get out.
Yeah.
Paddlefish have been in this lake before they closed the dam. They weren't stocked in here. I mean, there's so much history. You know, it's the world's largest multi-arch dam. Those are things that over time you educate yourself with and you share it. When then people are on the boat, I'm not trying to sell myself. I'm trying to sell the experience.
Yes.
The community, where to go eat. Well, this is where the locals go eat. Or this is, hey, you need to go down there to Grand Lake Sports Center. Been there 70 plus years on that corner. It's like walking into an old Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah.
And they get that hometown feeling. And they're like, man, Sam is so nice down there, you know. And
He's great.
Yes.
a lot of them come in and they're like, had to go by and see Sam or David, you know, and
Right.
you make that connection. And once you evolve your customers where they feel part of the community, if they're only here a day or 2 days, they want to come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they're going to bring family. They're going to advertise, because one of the things we was talking about was if you want to lose your business, word of mouth will either build it or crash it.
Yes.
And
Especially in Grove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in Grove,
Yeah.
because you have to take care of yourself and the way you act. And a lot of people don't understand the stuff they post on social media on their personal page.
Yes.
A lot of my sponsors, they look at my personal page
Right, of course.
before they even look at the business page, even look at my resume.
Yes.
So
Yeah. That's a great point.
You know, I'm going to change gears here just a little bit because I am fascinated about the husband-wife team. We probably won't have very many guests on our podcast that are husband-wife teams. So what advice would you give to a couple that are thinking of going into business with each other?
Put God first.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing. When we moved here in 2013, we didn't have a home church, and honestly, we didn't go to church.
Mm-hmm.
So when we moved in November of 2013 is when we moved to Grove permanently. 2014, we came in contact with our pastors and started going to church. And since then, we have always been to church.
So you have a third partner in this company.
Yes. So he's actually our
Love
number
that.
one partner.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
He's the managing member.
and the
He
thing
is.
about it
He
is, don't be afraid. Like if I make a mistake or she makes a mistake, we're all human.
right.
Once we posted our hours or from 8 to 6 or whatever, after 6 o'clock, the business phones shut off. We'll call you tomorrow.
Yes.
good.
You have to be able to stop the business and have your family life. And a great example of that is we run 350 to 400 trips a year. Well, I'll look in the calendar because she wanted me to go to Google Calendar. And I'm like, nope, my note paper right here.
He was all
That's what I
paper
need.
pencil.
And I was like, it about got bad because I'm like, I don't trust Google. I trust my pen and paper. But anyway, once we got everything set up like that, and she has helped me so much on the technical part of it. And then when I looked in the calendar, I was like, a week off? She goes, we're going on vacation, babe. We're shutting down.
Yeah.
Good job.
And it keeps me level because I'm like, go,
Right.
go, 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 go.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And you can't get burnt out.
So that kind of leads me into the next question, though. Your roles. How does that? I mean, Tommy, you're obviously out there in front on the boat, taking care of business. Barb, behind the scenes. You're obviously the schedule coordinator.
I am the
Yeah.
schedule coordinator. I'm the voice of the business. People hear me before they see him.
Okay.
So they hear me on the other end of the phone, and that's what I do mainly. Make sure the phone is answered. I answer emails. I make sure to help anybody that needs lodging, anybody that needs help with where to eat at. They call me throughout, even after trips sometimes, and they're saying, hey, we want to stay another day. And it's like, okay, what do you want to do? And they're like, we want to go fishing again. Okay, let's get you set up. So that's what I do. I kind of level him out to make sure that he doesn't say anything on social media that he shouldn't say. Sometimes
You're
he's like,
telling my
can
secret."
you believe that? And I'm like, yes, I can believe that. Just let it go.
Yeah.
It's okay.
She'll notice my foot sitting there twitching, and she's like, "Delete it." And I'm like, "You don't
Yeah.
even know."
She knows you.
Yes.
She knows.
And the thing about it, when we
Yes.
first started, I was trying to do too much.
He was
Once
doing
we got
everything.
built up, I was
Yes.
doing the booking.
Yeah.
I was doing the boat cleaning,
Yes.
the fishing, everything. Well, it got so big that I was like, "Babe, you're gonna have to quit your job, and this is a family business, and we need all hands on deck."
Right.
So don't be afraid. It was very, I guess, I don't want to say scary, but it was a changing point to like, okay, we're gonna go down and make this work.
We're going to
Yeah.
really do
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna.
But you
do
grew
it.
into that. You
Yes.
started small. You kept your job. You were still at the school.
Yes.
You had side gigs.
Yep.
Yes.
And then when it got to where you just couldn't do it anymore,
How
Yeah.
long
then
did
you
that?
knew.
Sorry, how long did
Great
that
question.
go from you starting your business to actually now you're quitting your job?
2 years?
It was 2020 is when I quit
Yeah,
my
so
job.
it was 2 years. It
Yes.
was less than 24 months.
Wow.
Yes.
And a lot of we always talking about the website and all that. I would say 60%, just throwing it out there, is word of mouth.
Yes.
And that was the
Okay.
thing I always did was I've had some people that's been out on other trips and they don't have a good experience.
Right.
Well, that affects everybody. If they have a great experience, that affects everybody too.
Yeah.
So what I do on that boat, from when they call to book the trip to taking them out to the Google reviews, they want to come back to Grove. They want to come back to the community. We've had people that have retired here because they come one time on the boat fishing
Wow.
and now they're buying houses
Yeah.
and their families coming on the weekends and everything. So it's, like you said, perfect earlier. Don't be so focused on, I sell marbles and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You can sell the bag, you can sell the box, you can sell the wrapper, you can sell the bow.
Yeah.
Can have marble tournaments.
Yeah, you can have marble tournaments. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't be afraid to go outside the box. And
Right.
And I think that's where bringing in someone else when you do get to that point where you're so busy to help you see other options as well. I think that's huge. So I think you guys are a perfect example of that.
And I fished bow fishing and we've won a lot of tournaments and stuff. Well, then I got into the catfishing world with some buddies, took me on a trip. And now to be able to travel around a lot of the Mississippi River area, I've learned so much talking from the elders and stuff at a boat ramp. Or don't be afraid to take on knowledge.
Right.
Don't be afraid to learn. Now, I may take a piece of what he said and incorporate it into the way I fish or the way I do business. But the one thing that just hit me on that was there was a gentleman that told me something when I first started that I still go by.
Yeah.
You don't want every customer. You want
Absolutely.
the right customer.
Yeah.
Because
That's
is
relatable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yes, for sure.
so, there's some people that call, well, I want something cheaper. Okay. And then you got some people that
Right.
don't ask the price. And we've always had that motto, like we've taken some celebrities and stuff out. I've had people that's waited till their income tax is back to go fishing, or they could buy 10 boats. I treat everybody the same
I'm sure you do.
because it's kind of like don't judge the book by the cover.
Right.
I had a gentleman show up one day in an old 90 truck, all beat up, and had his bibs on, and he owned a railroad company.
Yeah.
You'd have never known it. So,
I'm going to back up a moment. Kind of a point too is the importance of first impressions. Barb you're the first impression in a
Yes.
lot of ways. I mean, other than media like
Right.
this, but when they call up, what kind of tone of voice do they get
Right.
from that person on the other, from you,
Yes.
from on that line? How important that is, especially if they're just kind of figuring out. I mean, going out and using a guide is unusual. I mean, it's actually kind of part of our theme for this podcast series is unique businesses. There's not a lot of people want to do what you do,
Right.
but not many do.
Yes.
And when they call you, it's so important. Is a friendly voice, inviting voice, encouraging.
Right.
So
Well,
important.
and it got to that point that he did get so busy that when he answered the phone, if he answered the phone, sometimes it wasn't, oh, hey, how are you doing? It was like, hey, I'm on the boat. Let me call you back. So
Yeah.
it got to the point where he said, "Hey, I really, really need you."
So important to the success
So-
of a company.
Absolutely.
Yes. And were we scared? Yeah. Did we give it to God? Yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
what we did. That's what you have to do. And once it just flowed. After I quit my job,
That's
I
awesome.
finished out the school year, quit my job. It just flowed. It just hit us at the right time to go ahead for me to quit, for me to continue on what we knew needed to be done. And it wasn't so scary
Mm-hmm.
because it was just like, yes, God was saying, it's time.
Fell into place.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything just kind of fell into place.
Moral of the story, put him first.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that fear of failure, all that, it all
It's
works out.
gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It all works out.
And you don't know what direction, but if I seen the future, I would have messed it up. We wouldn't have a successful business because I would have messed it up.
I think that's
So,
the case with all of us.
Right.
I like how you took a managed risk though, and I'm sure at the time it didn't feel managed at all. But by you staying and working for 2 years was really wise. I think a lot of times entrepreneurs will just, maybe not make the most calculated and wise decisions. But then you waited until the business was at a point where it could support both of you.
Right.
So I think that's huge.
And that was one thing that, like, explaining to people sacrifices. Like, we don't have vacation, we don't have holidays, the busy weekends. It'd be nice to leave, but when they're here and they're at the
gotta take
lakes,
'em.
when you
Right.
got to take them.
Yeah.
So, and there's even been a couple of times the weather's been bad or the fishing we get out there and it's just horrible. Are you guys staying tomorrow? Yeah. Well, let me take you tomorrow and make that trip up.
Right.
And it shows them that, I believe everybody works hard for their money. So why not give them that experience? Go charge them for an hour boat ride. They're not going to enjoy that. They're not going to
And they're not going to come back.
They're not
Right.
gonna come
They're
back.
not going to return.
And that's probably my big deal is getting the community to, when they come in, they go eat, they do this. Kind of a change of subject is the catfishing world. I know this is a big bass lake. Everything's bass, or it's trash. It's kind of private joke for saying that. But hey, so had some guys that wanted to bring the catfish tournament in. Was talking to some people, and I was like, "Do you think it's just a bunch of rednecks in bib overalls?" They're like, "Well, in little John boats." Well, they couldn't believe the tournaments the guys are rolling up in $100,000 boats and $100,000 rigs. Well, the difference with the catfish world is we got buddies that come from all over the country. You only get to see each other 4 or 5 times a year. So there'll be 20, 30 people at a restaurant.
Wow.
Right.
Everybody's here for a week usually. Typically when I go, I'm at that tournament for a week.
Wow.
So a lot of people, they'll bring their families if
They
they're
bring
here.
their wives
They
are
bring their
shopping in the
wives.
boutiques.
Right.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So, and the good thing about it, our catfishing channel cat can hold fat and a flathead can, but a blue cat can't. So it constantly has to eat. That's what makes our wintertime catfishing so great here. And we don't have the 70, 80, 90 pounders you're going to catch on the lake or on the Mississippi River, but everybody's catching a ton of fish.
Yeah.
We've got a great boat ramp, the community. So I've listened to all the feedback over the last 2 or 3 tournaments, and everybody's like, "I love Grand Lake. I didn't catch monster fish. Everybody caught fish. The weigh-in's tight, the boat ramps, the people." That makes you feel good.
Yes.
That does.
And it comes in February when we're not busy.
Yeah.
So
Which
it
is
helps
great.
the community.
Yeah.
And
Keeps things moving.
that's
Yes.
one thing we was talking about with business. Don't be like, "Well, we have no wake guide service and that's our focus." It's broadened for me going to fishing tournaments, traveling all over the country to bring tournaments here.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just word of
Wow.
mouth talking. So
So Tommy, is fishing year round? Do you do this year round? Is it? And actually, I kind of asked this for selfish reasons too, for personal. But I mean, it's because trying to figure out a time I can give them a call to go out, and sometimes for us, fall and winter.
well, you're
Is
going to
there-
like this answer because, yes, we fish all year round. In the wintertime, we have an enclosure on the boat
Nice.
with a heater.
Oh,
So
I love
after
that.
years
Much
of
better.
not having, there's the picture
can-
of the top
Yeah.
right there.
You can
That's
count
great.
my wife in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being,
And that's what a lot of women do come. They wouldn't come otherwise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
I
How about
wouldn't go
spoonbill?
otherwise.
Is that
Right.
year round?
that is a great question. It's spoonbill year round.
Yeah.
Because
We can actually
when we
answer that
started,
honestly.
yeah, when we started spoonbill, I've been catching them. This will be my 35th year in a row catching one.
Wow.
I started, I had a neighbor grab me up, take me to Chautauqua to the dam to help me catch my first spoonbill. So everybody knew I'd go to Miami or Chautauqua up there in March and April, catch your spoonbill. Well, then as technology come out, we would pull lead and catch spoonbill in the wintertime. Well, technology's changed, and now we got this thing called live scope. Well, we would quit at the end of May and then wait till the fall. We haven't quit catching them all summer.
Right.
So we have those people that are in, they're only going to be here in the summer. We can go out and catch them with paddlefish or spoonbill now. So being able to fish all year long has really helped. And it's awesome we have the largest population of paddlefish anywhere in the world.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, and you
Wow.
can catch and
Not know that.
release.
Yes.
So a lot of people come and catch and release. Where are you going to go to catch an average of 45, 50 pound fish with a chance of catching a couple over 100? You know, we've got
Yeah.
3 over 100 pounds out of here. So I've had guys that's traveled all over the world and been offshore and everything. And I was like, why didn't I come 3 hours over here and fish with you? It's a lot cheaper and a lot easier.
Yeah.
So
So when we set that up, we say specifically, hey, we're looking for spoonbill.
Yes.
And what we've done is don't be afraid to be honest with your customers. There's times they want to go crappie fishing. Hey, the lake's muddy or the bite's not off. Would you prefer to go catfishing or spoonbill? No, I want to crappie fish. Well, we're just going to be honest with you. And we may go load the boat or we may not. And then let them make the decision. I see it happen. Oh, man, we're killing them. We're killing them. And they take them out. Well, they haven't been catching fish or that fish is off. And that's the good thing about us. We do 5 different species. So we can do spoonbill, catfish, white bass, crappie, or go bow fishing. So we can switch it up. And it's, but don't be afraid to be honest.
Right.
You know, kind of like real estate. If the roof's leaking, don't tell them it has a brand new roof because Grandpa always told me you cannot tarnish your last name.
Right.
You can't get that back.
That's good.
That's
So,
huge.
yeah, just be honest. And if you know, that week you may have had to not take 2 or 3 trips, but you're going to get that back in the long run because you were honest with your customers.
Definitely.
Repeat customers, I'm sure they remember and appreciate that. So, Barb, if I wanted to, say, gift my husband a trip and I really have no idea where to start, I don't know what he'd like to do, and I call you up and I say, hey, I want to take Damien out, or I don't even want to be there. I want Tommy to. What can I do? Can you help me? Can you guide me? What kind of things would we go through? How can a customer approach you that really doesn't know even what you offer or what they can choose? Do you do by the hour, by half day? How does that work?
We go by hours. Trips are up to 5 hours. Usually they fish the first 4 hours, clean fish the last hour. That just gives them a time frame of how long they'll be on the water, how long they'll be cleaning fish, things like that. We do offer gift certificates. So a lot of women do call for gifts and they ask the exact same question you said.
Yeah.
Hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. Explain it to me. So you just explain everything to them, the options they have, the time of year it is, if it's cold, if it's hot. Just go through everything and just let them feel like they're important. That's the main thing. Is when I talk to them on the phone, a lot of women, and there's a lot of men too that aren't knowledgeable, and they call and say, hey, I don't know anything about what you guys are doing. Can you explain it to me? So you just explain, you know, catfish is good now, spoonbill is good now. A lot of people do crappie and they're like, oh, it's not good right now. If you want to come back, come in the summertime when it's really going good.
Yeah.
So
So you kind of direct them.
I do.
I love that you have gift certificates
Yes.
because then you could just give it to someone. Maybe you don't know if they prefer crappie or catfish.
And that is fine.
And then they
if
can
they
pick
just, yes, if they buy the gift certificate, they can choose whenever they want to go during that year. The gift certificate is good for, and they can choose whatever they want to fish for.
And it's kind of simple. What do I need to bring? a fishing
Yourself?
license.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
Yes.
got everything else covered. You know, if you want to bring a small
Yes.
cooler or whatever, but we got everything else covered.
Yes.
And
That's great.
yeah, and we've done bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, birthday parties.
fun.
We've got some kids that probably the last 4 years that on their birthday, mom and dad's like, hey, this is a lot better experience.
Absolutely.
Kind of like turn that, we used, would buy a bunch of gifts for the kids. Well, we all know after Christmas, by January 1st, they're in the closet, broke, we don't
Right.
know. Well, this is making memories. And that's what I always
Experience.
say. I'll take pictures. I'll be like, no, let's move that right there. And a prime example I'll give customers, they're like, man, are you a part-time photographer? There was a picture of my grandpa that had like an 80-pound flathead, and I was little. I was like 9 or 10 standing next to him. I can't find that picture. And we took a family out that their great-grandparents were fishing with them, and we were spoon-billing. And I made sure to get everybody up there because I wanted to make sure they had that picture where they can find it 20, 30 years
Grandpa
from
in it.
now.
Right.
And another thing, I look at every trip, tomorrow's never guaranteed for none of us.
Absolutely.
So we want to make that day special.
Absolutely.
Real estate, we want to make that closing easier, that house, their dream house. If they don't want it, then let's work harder to find what they want or
Right.
what they want to catch.
Yes.
And to
And
make
that's
those
advice that
memories.
you could apply to any business.
Yes.
Absolutely. Whether it's a restaurant, a store, real estate company,
Yes.
anything.
Yeah, we always tell our real estate agents that if you focus on providing the customer what they want, then the referrals will come, the
Yes.
money will come, the sales will come. It's focusing on what the customer wants. And I love that that's exactly what you guys do.
Yep.
Well, I am getting the wind down signal from our director, William Boucher. But something before we leave, I mentioned Tommy and Barb earlier, but just real quick, I've got 2 boys. I think they all know that. And I'm really thinking that was pre-pandemic. But I'm thinking it was, they were probably about 7 years old. And I raised my hand when you said, not only ladies don't know what they're talking about, but
Right.
guys too. And that's me. I've fished when I was young, but I'm not. The most intelligent question I could ask is, can you fish spoonbill year round? That's about the most intelligent. Anything other than that when it comes to fishing.
Yep.
But so I wanted to take the boys, and this was before we adopted them, but I wanted to take the boys fishing. It's just a guy's day. And then I've got 3 son-in-laws. I think at that time I had 2. But nonetheless, take the son-in-laws. And I went to a fishing, a bait supplier here locally, and asked them, I say, hey, I don't know anything about this. I should have called Barb. But I don't know anything about this. Who would be good to take my boys? You've got to call Tommy Vaughn. He would be excellent. So called him up, had a great day, took it out. The boys enjoyed it, but I will tell you that Chance now, and I think really prior to that, just the little Mickey Mouse rods off the dock.
Mm-hmm.
But he is now, I think you'd be proud of him. I think because he's really, his passion is fishing. I mean, he's got a set of rods that is right up there with the pro levels. I mean, he's just all kinds. He's bought a very nice one, saved up for it. But then I was telling him just the other day off the dock, he caught a 22-pound catfish. And I said, well, what'd you use for bait? How'd you do that? Well, he went down. He first catches the perch. Mm-hmm. He has the rig because he said, Poppy is what they call me, Poppy. Got the weight at the bottom, hook in the middle, and that way the fish then bob or whatever keeps it afloat so the fish could swim around, the little perch. And he caught this. And he can fly fish. He does all. But I'm telling you, I told him, I've told both the boys, they're twins, and I said, if you can use your passion to, grow up, and if you want to use that passion and become your occupation, my wife says this to her students, if you do something that you're passionate about and you make that your occupation, you never have a day of work.
And you talk about that, like now with the college, being able to fish to go to college, I would have went to college.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
The football player got
Right.
hurt, but yeah, I would have definitely. It's something that you brought up. I know we're supposed to wrap this up real quick.
That's all right.
That's fine.
There's something that you really caught my eye. we plant seeds in life, whether it's our faith, our fishing. And I didn't know I planted a seed that day.
Right.
No, but you
don't-
did.
Yeah. And
You
you
did.
don't know that. I mean, you'll see it maybe 4 or 5 years later, they come back, or, you know, we've taken some kids out in the community that don't have parents. Grandma might be raising them, or grandpa, they have no structure. And there was one kid like that. And I said, hey, if you don't have any D's or F's and get sent to the office the last 9 weeks, I'll take you fishing. Well, he brought his grandpa and his sister.
Yeah.
So in his 6th grade year, I said, all right, I'm going to make the same deal, but you can't get in trouble at all year. And I see that kid, he's a junior now
Right.
in high school, and he will come give me a hug at Walmart. He always gives me a hug, goes, love you, Tommy. Doesn't matter if he's at the football game with his buddies or anything. So
It's cool.
we need,
You're going to make me cry.
oh, I've got
Good
tons
stuff.
of stories, but you
yeah,
know,
it's touching.
Yeah.
when we're doing stuff, we don't know if we're planting seeds in life, period. But then when you put that in your business, it's hard to fail.
You never know who you influence.
Right.
And I guarantee you had an influence on that young man. I mean, now I will tell you, if you remember, right, he's a twin. His twin brother, what was really cool about it was they didn't catch all the fish. Not every pool was on the boys' fish, but you had a gentleman with you at the time. He would catch it, you'd catch it, and you'd bring it around. They would reel it in.
Right.
And the one that Chase, you know, I guess I just wanted them to know, hey, you can take that passion. You love fishing. You'll listen to this, you'll watch this. You can take that and make that a living of some form. Chase enjoys gaming. He was the one that, if you go back in photos, he was sound asleep, spread out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember.
That seed didn't take off.
But he lasted
Yeah.
a little while. I think he caught a few, but
Yep. And that's the thing too. It's
but he enjoyed it too.
when you see him napping in the boat, I got a bunch of pictures of kids, and I'm like, okay, am I that boring? Or no, they're just
They're
that
just-
relaxed.
yes,
and
they're
wanna
good.
be
That's right.
outside.
That's right. He's just chilling in the sun.
Yep.
But you know, for him, he enjoys gaming. You know, I tell you, you can do something.
He would
with
love the live scope.
that. There.
And that's the thing with gaming and the younger generation, the live scope has, we're going to have to do another episode because we're just getting
Yeah. I know we could go on and on.
when they're casting and they're hooking spoonbill or catching crappie with the technology, this younger generation picks it up. I'm still not picking it up. You know, I do it every day. I'm getting there. But yeah, that younger generation, you can take them out and go, hey, this is that. I had a 10-year-old that hooked his own spoonbill Saturday after 2 hours on the boat, and he was almost crying in tears of happiness because he didn't know how to throw a bait caster. He'd never even seen a paddlefish
Wow.
or catch his own. He seen dad do it, mom do it, and then he did it within 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's the memories we want to make. That's
That's
the
cool.
promotion of the business and anything that, you know, they felt special. But also, I'm getting rewarded by being able to be part of all these memories.
Yes.
And not every guides, and there's none out there specifically I'm referring to, maybe result or you'll have that result, but it's your business philosophy that makes the difference, I think, too.
Yep.
And you enacting, you putting it in action, both of you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So proud of you all joining us and being a part of this. Yeah, it's we
you.
probably need to do a second part
Sure.
Yeah.
at some point. Would love to do that down the road, but really on behalf of all of us. I
Yeah.
think we
Thank
can-
you so much.
Yeah.
This
You're
was
welcome.
awesome.
I
Thanks
do
for
want to
having us.
ask you if someone wanted to find you, how they go about that. If we can just, I know we've got this up and that's obvious, but before we do that, real quick, I think that Franklin, did you quickly have a question about their wrap on their truck?
Oh yes,
You said you wanted
I wanted
to
to ask
them
that
about
question because you were talking about the story about a deer hitting your truck, and then that impacted your wrap. But there's more details. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so when we looked at marketing, and I had the truck wrapped, and we would be in town, people would call, we'd be in Oklahoma City, Joplin, anywhere in the area, and they'd see it and call. Well, we hit a deer, and it was Memorial Day weekend at 2:00 in the afternoon, of all times to hit a deer. And we had to take the wrap off to get the truck fixed. And I was like, we don't need to wrap it, the boat's wrapped. Well, people wasn't coming up and asking for cards. They wasn't stopping when I'd stop at the gas station and want a fishing report. They didn't know who I was. They didn't put that together. unless I had the boat on. Well, now that we got the truck wrapped and the boat wrapped, it's a traveling billboard.
Wow.
Yes.
And, you know, there's nothing bad about billboards. You put it up, you're only going to get those people that drive by. I'm driving by everybody.
Yes.
And it's had a lot of great conversations, even some not about fishing or, you know, it's a great marketing tool. But the thing about it is all those sponsors on there, I believe in the people and I believe in the product because you can't sell it if you do. I mean, some people probably can, I can't. So, and sponsors come and go, you know, and it's not the relationship was bad. They just went a different avenue or, you know, whatever. But a lot of those sponsors are local because I want to be able to have the product and then be able to pick it up right here locally. So
You had mentioned something about a big box retailer had reached out to you guys
Yes.
and wanted to sponsor you. But your choice instead was a local sports company.
yep.
Yes.
It was actually, we stayed with the Grand Lake Sports Center because if I break a reel, I can get it fixed. People can go in there and see it. They were one of the first ones that, you know, said, hey, we believe in what you're doing. We believe in your business motto and taking care of people. And if I was going out and having bad trips with customers, they wouldn't have been, you know, they wouldn't give you a card because they're putting their name on the line too.
Absolutely.
Right.
And, you know, you can't go out and go to the football game and act crazy and then go, hey, I want the community to support my business.
Right.
Absolutely.
So, but
Well, what a great interview. I believe that William will put all of your details in the description. But for those that aren't watching by video, can you tell us your phone number, your website, how to find you on Facebook, that sort of thing?
Yes, our phone number is 918-314-3923. When you ring that number, you'll hear me. And then our website is nowaitguideservice.com, and you can see it in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And we can go in and update that on a regular basis, so you'll see different things that we're catching. And you can find us on Facebook at No Wait Guide Service.
Okay.
Very
And it
good.
looks like they can book a trip right through.
You can
There also?
when they click the book a trip, it will ask just general questions: what you want to fish for, how many people are you bringing on your trip. It doesn't have rates on the website because we like to make it personal. So it'll shoot me an email and I will call directly.
Awesome.
Very
don't
good.
be afraid to check out all our Google reviews.
Yes.
There's a lot of testimonies in there too. So it's kind of cool to
I bet.
link that together. So one that pops in mind, we took a single mom out, never been to the lake, didn't know anything. Her review's about 5 pages long.
Oh, wow.
But she was scared as a single
Love
mom
that.
with 2 kids.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all right, I'm going out with this guy on a boat and taking my kids and don't know
Yeah.
the lake or nothing. And they had a great time.
Awesome.
So
Very cool.
Yep.
Well, and your prior Google reviews probably gave her some peace in
Yes.
making that decision.
yes,
I'm sure.
So
Yeah.
Very
Awesome.
good.
Cool.
Barb,
Yes.
both of you. Tommy, thank you.
thank you
you.
guys.
Yeah, thank
This
you
was
guys.
awesome.
Appreciate you
Yes.
taking time visiting with us.
Yes. You're welcome.